Evidence of coronavirus in Guyana. Chief Justice rules that RO must return to District 4 tabulation and CARICOM leaders are on local shores. It's Wednesday, March 11, 2020. We have lots to tell you today. But first up, Chief Justice Roxanne George has ruled that GCOM's returning officer must return to District 4 tabulation by 11 a.m. Thursday, March 12.
Senior Counsel Neil Boston said that the Guyana Elections Commission will be ready to return to the completion of the process, which was interrupted last week by members of the People's Progressive Party. The acting Chief Justice on Wednesday submitted that the Region 4 returning officer, Claremont Mingo, did not comply with Section 841 of the Representation of the People's Act, Chapter 103, before he made the official declaration of the results for the region. She ordered that the process be commenced no later than 11 a.m. on Thursday, March 12. But Attorney Boston said it was the PPP which gave way to that breach, and that the elections body will be ready to comply.
We are going back to GCOM, and we are going to get the process moving. And then another declaration will be made. That's all I wish to see. That's all I wish to see.
There was some specific reference made to verification. Your response to that, how the Chief Justice dealt with that issue?
No, well, there's no such thing as verification. It's a question you calling out from your statement to poll, and then either what they have tally with what you have, and that's it. The verification is used loosely.
In her consequential orders, however, the Chief Justice pointed out that the onus is on the returning officer to decide which method he will use to complete the tabulation of the SOPs as mandated by law.
It would be for the returning officer and or the deputy returning officer to decide whether, in the interest of transparency, the addition process should be restarted or continued from where it was left off. It would also be for these functionaries to determine the best method of tabulating the statements of poll. Again, it cannot be for the persons present to indicate how this should be conducted.
The case against GCOM was brought by the opposition PPP last Thursday, when an injunction was filed preventing the district returning officer from making a public declaration of the votes cast in Region 4. For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
A delegation of CARICOM leaders today arrived in Guyana and over the next 2 days will meet with a number of players in the recently held general and regional elections.
Chair of CARICOM and Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honourable Mia Mottley, arrived in Guyana on Wednesday morning. The CARICOM chair is leading a delegation which includes other CARICOM leaders, Prime Ministers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, Grenada, Dr. Keith Mitchell, Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, and Dominica Roosevelt Skerritt. During the 2-day visit, the CARICOM heads will meet with representatives of the Commonwealth, Organization of American States, European Union and Carter Center observer missions who have been in Guyana monitoring the conduct of the March 2, 2020 general and regional elections. The delegation will also meet with the leadership of all parties that contested the polls. The visiting CARICOM team hopes to assist in arriving at a resolution to the impasse that resulted from last Monday's general elections. From the Eugene Correa International Airport with senior videographer Kenyan Bacchus, Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
The novel coronavirus disease, COVID-19, has had a few reported cases in the South American and Caribbean region. This has prompted an intensified public awareness effort by the Ministry of Public Health, engaging sections of the population on what they need to know about the disease, how it can be prevented, and what measures are in place to protect the local population.
Public Health Minister Honorable Valdo Lawrence called on stakeholders to play their part in ensuring the protection and safety of Guyana's population. She urged them to practice basic precautionary measures.
It is evident that this task cannot be singularly managed by the Ministry of Public Health, and we don't claim to be any hero. And so I'm calling on all stakeholders, the private sector, the government, the other government ministries and all agencies, NGOs, as well as all our citizens resident in Guyana, to demonstrate the will and national spirit so that our mobilization against COVID-19 is a concerted and collective effort.
According to Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdeo Prasad, global statistics indicate that although the virus has not been declared a pandemic, if it is, it will be the first pandemic that can be controlled through effective health promotion and preventative measures.
Globally, this you can access this information from the situation report. This was prepared on report number 40 that was published on the 11th of March. Globally, the total confirmed case for COVID-19 stands at 103,702 with 4,125 new cases in the last 24 hours. Importantly, the death has also crept up to above 4,000. It's now 4,012. And as PWR is saying, death rates now stand at about 3.5 of all the confirmed cases, with 203 new deaths occurring in the last 24 hours.
The CMO also outlined some recent statistics, noting that China, where the disease was originated, has now managed to mitigate the spread. This gives countries like Guyana the opportunity to emphasize prevention and keep the virus beyond our borders. Among other speakers were PAHO WHO country representative Dr. William Adukro, who expressed his confidence in the local health system to contain transmission and protect the local population from the novel coronavirus disease. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
There has been no evidence of the coronavirus in Guyana. This was confirmed today by Minister of Public Health, the Honorable Valdo Lawrence, during a press briefing.
That there are rumors and messages on social media to all and sundry that Guyana has now had its first case of coronavirus. I want to categorically say from the medical standpoint that we have not received any evidence of such.
The public health minister said while the disease is approaching Guyana's borders and there is one suspected case, in all instances there are procedures which must be followed. Dr. Fawcett Jeffrey, who is the Director of Medical and Professional Services at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, disclosed that an investigation was launched after a 52-year-old woman who previously traveled from Queens, New York, visited the city hospital.
She did present to the Georgetown Hospital yesterday afternoon at about 5 p.m. And really, why she was there? Because she presented with uncontrolled diabetes and hypertension. Because of this comorbid condition that she had, she succumbed and had to be intubated and resuscitated. After being intubated, resuscitation succeeded, but at about 8 this morning, she succumbed to her diseases, basically diabetes and hypertension. Investigation was done, an interrogation, and the family members who were there with the person could not confirm any contact that she may have had with anyone with COVID-19. But, of course, suspicion, because you travel on a plane, can exist. Samples were taken from her nasopharyngeal area, and they were sent to the National Reference Lab.
When that process is concluded, only then a pronouncement can be made. Minister Lawrence urged Guyanese to disregard all negative news trending on social media. For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
Next up, we explain some steps you can take to prevent infection with the new coronavirus.
Protect yourself and others from getting sick by washing your hands. After coughing or sneezing, caring for a sick person, before, during, and after food preparation, before eating, after using the toilet, when your hands are visibly dirty, after handling animals or animal waste. Wash your hands with soap and running water when visibly dirty. Keep hands clean frequently using hand sanitizers or soap and water. Protect others by covering your mouth and nose and sneezing into a tissue or flexed elbow. Throw the tissue into a covered bin right after use. Clean your hands either by washing with soap and water or hand sanitizer. You can also protect others from getting sick by avoiding close contact if you are coughing and experiencing fever. Do not spit in public.
When the news returns, Demerara Harbour Bridge under repairs following Monday's accident, and overseas-based Guyanese launches series of children's books. Details of these stories and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Demerara Harbour Bridge Company has completed an assessment of the damages and has proceeded with repairs following Monday's accident.
General Manager for the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation, Ralston Adams, informed InfoHub that the new components of the hydraulic cabin, which was damaged, will be made at its workshop on Wednesday. Quote, "We will install off-site, do some testing, then we will bring it back to the bridge and hopefully install the cabin on the bridge by Friday," end quote. After the reinstallation of the repaired cabin, the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation will determine the earliest possible time that retraction can resume to accommodate the passage of marine traffic. On Monday evening, a vehicle sped off the bridge. While there were no reported injuries sustained by the occupant, the vehicle has since been removed and traffic along the bridge allowed to flow. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
Former Bartica resident Karen Roberts, after being resident in St. Lucia for more than 2 decades, has returned to Guyana to launch a series of children's books aimed at improving their self-esteem.
Originally published in 2015, the married mother of one developed a passion for writing to share words of encouragement, helping others to develop self-worth.
I think that I have an important message for kids, for small children. Positive self-talk and building good self-confidence and high self-esteem. So my books are about that. In my case, I was insecure about my height. I thought I was too tall. I thought my skin was too dark. And I think there are kids out there who have and feel the same insecurities, and I wanted to help them in some way to reassure them that everybody is beautiful in their own way and unique.
Roberts, who is also a wellness therapist and a globetrotter, believes that there is so much to offer when giving back to one's homeland.
My book is available on Amazon worldwide. I do have plans of having it in bookstores, and as a matter of fact, it's available in the library, the National Library. And I will be donating some books to schools in Bartica and hopefully in the future to schools around Georgetown. I'm also trying to get the books into schools through the ministry so that kids can have access to all my books in schools all over Guyana.
Roberts now lives with her husband and son outside Gothenburg, Sweden. She enjoys staying fit and spending quality time with her family and friends. She also donated several copies of her books to the National Library and met Education Ministry officials. For InfoHub, Ayana George.
The Department of Social Cohesion is scheduled to host the prize-giving ceremony for this year's Matrimony 2020 winners. Among the winners is now 8th-time Road March Queen Vanessa Roberts.
And elated Roberts shared her excitement at copping the title of 2020 Road March Queen. "I'm happy and elated to have won this title because that means I'm just 2 steps closer to my ultimate goal of becoming a 10th-time Road March Queen. This is just to set a record for future generations to beat." Meanwhile, Linden, Barticle, and Region 3 administration received first, second, and third place respectively in the full costume category. Linden Mayor Her Worship Bonica Arndale shared her happiness with InfoHub. I'm shocked, elated, and surprised. Our costume was a team effort, more so under the guidance of our town clerk. This year, Linden celebrated its 50th anniversary, and so this win makes it even better. Vanilla and several other artists like Jomo Primo, Brandon Harden, and reigning Chutney Monarch Bunty Singh have collaborated to remake her 2019 hit, One Voice. The move was organized by Nigel Sokofok Rorel, who brought the singers together to combine their talents to positively influence the public. The artists have joined their voice to remake a song that calls for peace, love, and unity. Let's check it out.
We're gonna lift her up, lift her up, lift her up. So many years have passed and you know they're still fooling we. That we are one people, one nation with one destiny.
It's time we link our minds, make it reality. There are some politicians who don't want to see unity.
Neil Damon, InfoHub.
Mashing up we Guyana. One voice, it's the voice of the people. Let me make them know, only dealing with racial harmony.
That's all for today. Connect with us on all our social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye for now.